Welcome to the Lift with Sheila Robinson Kiss. Come on in. There's always a special place set aside for you here where you can relax, kick up your heels, pour yourself a nice, refreshing drink, and prepare to be lifted and soar. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, and welcome back to the Lift with Sheila Robinson Kiss. We've got it all here, guys. Mental health, movement, motivation, the best relationship advice around. So, welcome back. If you're loving what I'm doing, don't forget to subscribe and share the news of the channel with your friends and family. I'm going to dive right in, received the note, and it was like ding, 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 ding. All the bells went off. You gotta answer this note ASAP. Today our topic is, and it's inspired by this note, how to deal with people who just lack awareness. It really is a problem. Let me read the note to you, and let's just dive into this. Uh, Dear Sheila, am I right to be angry? Please help me. I truly need some insight here. I live in a small house. It's actually tiny, and wanted to throw my son a big birthday bash. About 15 kids. A dear friend, I thought she was a dear friend, agreed to let us use her backyard. I was thrilled. The day of the party came, and we were setting up balloons, and she springs this on me. Well, I hope he's going to have a blast, short and sweet, 90 minutes. This is how she tells me we can only use her yard for 90 minutes. Had I known that, I could have made another plan. I was really flabbergasted. When I when I got upset, she looked at me like I was like a deer in the headlights. She's done some other silly things before. Can anyone be this clueless? Thanks, Jordan. Well, well, Jordan, the short answer is yes. Yes. You do have people walking up to me. I hear something like that. It's common sense. I don't even know how the kids aren't even done kind of getting acquainted and playing. That's going to take a couple hours in of itself to get everything broken down. So I would agree with you. It's very clueless. It comes off as very rude to me. And that's something, if there was a strict time limit on your gathering like that, absolutely that's something you would have hoped that she would tell you earlier. So I think you do have a right to be upset. Beyond that, I'm going to kind of rein it in and caution you. I also think next to that right, you have an obligation to really think about how you want to handle that anger. And there's some options I want to lay out in this message for all of you. People walk in states of oblivion for a variety of reasons. I mean, it can come down to emotional immaturity. There's some people they're just so self-focused. Others, there's more or less a general, it's a general insensitivity that they walk through the world with. And for some people, it really truly is flat out ignorance, meaning they don't know. It's just pure lack of knowledge. But in any case, whatever the reason may be, there's generally a disconnect. The reason people have the disconnect is one thing. On the other end of that is being out of sorts and not aware of one's general impact on others. We all have massive impact. I've walked into a room and smiled, hello everyone, been warm and bubbly. I've experienced the chemistry of the room change. On the same hand, you know, we're all human, have bad days. I've witnessed myself just my mood drop other people's mood. We all have a massive impact on each other's functioning, disposition, perception. So I want to take a deeper dive today and just share some options you have, because people's lack of awareness, depending on how deep it is and what area it is, it can really cause you some problems. So, the first thing I want you to keep in mind is if someone is just operating in chronic states of lack of awareness, you're going to need to harness, quite frankly, enough awareness for both of you. I want to give you an example here. Um, I have a friend who is always late. This person is also very super picky. It's quite annoying. These are things that, I've kind of brought it up in passing, but there doesn't really seem to be an interest in addressing it or changing it. I should also say that I enjoy this person's company, minus these annoyances that they don't really seem to have a lot of awareness about tremendously. So, one option you have literally is to work around it, depending on what it is, you work around it. I know that if I say, oh, let's grab a bite to eat, this person, just as a rule, a general rule, is going to be super late. I always pick a location, quite frankly, where there's shopping around. I pick a time where it's totally relaxed for me, because if I have something to do or somewhere to go and this person is just, I'm going to run my own show, that's not going to work for me. So, one option you have is to work around it. You really do have that option. You're really going to find a perfect person. So you have to pick and choose what is the impact. What is the impact of their lack of awareness? Someone being chronically late is very different than someone who is a habitual liar. And you loan them $5,000 and they say, I'm definitely going to give it back, and you never see it. So there's nuances when we're in this relationship space. There's nuances that we have to consider, because if the baby is always going to go out with the bathwater, you're going to find yourself in kind of a desolate, lonely life. Okay, so this is a real world channel, and I'm just dealing with issues. It's straight up advice, information that is fruitful and impactful for your life. So some things we can work around. Second option I want to share with you is there are moments available to us. I call them teachable moments, because you have a lot of people functioning out here. I mean, it can be due to their evolution, to their age, what they had access to, their station in life. There's just no one is going to know everything. So you do have some people who fall into the category, it's just sheer God blessed ignorance. And those amount to teachable moments where you bring them into the knowledge. You try to do that with as much dignity and class as possible. And I've needed to do this, but I've been on the other end too. And I'm going to give you examples of both. I remember I was taking a class with someone. We were supposed to be divvying up. It was a group assignment, and they were supposed to be divvied up equally. And this person basically was not pulling their weight. I knew that they were very busy with a lot of different commitments. And so the group we were in was really getting riled up, basically getting prepared to turn against this person. And with as much dignity and grace as I could, I said, look, we all appreciate you're busy, but we're not in position to shoulder your load of this project. Is it something you think is better to walk away from now, or do you want to try to look at rearranging your time commitment? Um, that's one example. It worked out okay. It was just a lack of awareness of what you dropping the ball is doing to everyone else. On the flip side, I always tell the truth, shame the devil. I've had occasions in my life, just coming of age, um, things I didn't know, things I had missed. I'll give you a perfect example. When I had left school, got into this cute little complex, apartment complex, and there was a couple who lived across the way, and I'd see them at the mailbox and just chitter chattering, how you doing? And comes to find out that the one counterpart in this couple did the same thing, the same kind of work, and we would frequently just chat at the mailbox or in the courtyard. And sometimes his spouse was there, sometimes not. Purely, when I tell you purely innocent, had no interest in this person whatsoever. But I also was not schooled in the nuances of borders and boundaries around someone's spouse, if you will. These were not flirtatious conversations. Really, they were educational, intellectual. But, before I knew it, maybe 6, 7 months down the road, I would see them at the mailbox. Hey, how you doing? How's it going? And just iced over, ice cold. And honestly, I literally didn't know enough about kind of the nature of human beings, psychology 101 at that point. There's actually another neighbor. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what happened. I thought we were very cool. And she's like, oh, she, really didn't appreciate the conversation. And really, it was just about educational stuff. She didn't appreciate that. I'm like, wow. And it literally, it left an impact on me. And I'm like, yeah, I get, Sheila, just because you're not wired that way. Yeah, this woman was very jealous to the point just iced over. So that was due to just a general ignorance on the nuance and not understanding, really, quite frankly, in that social arena, how careful you need to be. Okay, that's one example. So when someone they're not operating out here maliciously, that's a real opportunity just to bring them into greater levels of awareness. And I'm not saying that you have to walk around out here like you're a teacher or a professor, because quite frankly, sometimes I become exhausted facilitating teachable moments too. But I can tell you this, there's a lot of relationships that get ruined, whether it's friendships, it could be professional relationships, because people do not have the courage to communicate clearly. And so you back away, you leave people guessing. I've done it. I have done that before. And as I have grown and matured and realized over the years I've made those mistakes, I've tried to go back and make corrections, because we are all human beings here. You wouldn't be here if you're not going to make mistakes. So it really does require deeper levels of bravery and courage where communication is concerned, and it requires deeper levels of communication. And once you know better, that's what I say. You can't beat yourself up, because once you know better, you do better. So that's one brand of lack of awareness. The other thing I want to talk about is folks who are generally um, self-absorbed. They're just so far into themselves, to the lack of just I've just seen it. Basic awareness. This is something they could catch on to. Basic social etiquette, decency, reciprocity. I see it a lot, particularly in the areas of reciprocity, where the gratitude is not there, the acknowledgments are not there, appreciation. The world is rampant. The world is rampant with that. I worked with a woman, an extraordinary partner. He had done just some marvelous things to support her, not just in her career, but had also done a lot to support her extended family. And one of the things, as they had entered counseling, he says, this is, She has come to expect it. She is so just self-focused on her needs, and as if I'm supposed to fulfill them. Sheila, a thank you goes a long way. And we got into this in the counseling session, and this woman, it was almost, she listened and she took it, but before she really took it in, I saw kind of her bristle up in like a resentment, and I had to tell her, he's got a point. He's got a point. You are so disconnected from the impact of your lack of gratitude and him as a human being and the sacrifices trying to support you, that your lack of awareness of your impact, it's about to cost you your marriage. So this is how far this stuff can go if people are just in perpetual states of, I want to keep my head in the sand. It's very dangerous. That's why I'm always sharing with everyone in these messages, in these videos, in writing, wherever I can. Please work on yourself. Take those deep dives so you can walk out here in awareness. And it is true that there's some people who are so damaged and fractured. It doesn't matter how aware you are, it doesn't matter how kind you are. Sometimes that very awareness and kindness can be a massive trigger for someone who just haven't has not done the work. But the first beneficiary to self-awareness is you. I cannot tell you, just over the years, sitting in reflection, reading more conversations with people, the pitfalls that were, I would say, in my youth, much more common. It's just very rare. It's seldom now, because through that awareness of my environment, of other people, of myself, I make a higher quality. There's been enhanced quality in my choices and my decisions, how I carry myself, how I move through this world. So I'm the first beneficiary, and it's much less stressful. The deeper dive you take in getting to know yourself, you just function in elevated states. It's less stressful. You have more fun in life. You can avoid a lot, but you also open up glorious doors of bounty and overflow. I have learned major lessons about appreciation, communication, being expressive, being value added, ensuring that people feel special, the people in my life who do wonderful things for me, my business partners, my clientele, the acquisition of the impact of my energy in those processes has just created an upward trajectory, an upward spiral. So it's nothing but a goodie package, you guys, when you really get into this work. But dealing with folks who are not on the same page with awareness, it can be an exercise in chronic frustration, which is why it leads me to my third point. When it has just become just too frustrating, it's untenable. You've had the conversations. It's not something I can work around, Sheila. That's when we move into the third option, which is creating space. And you can create space by basically announcing, I'm creating space. I can't do this anymore. Thank you. I need to depart. Or you can just, slowly but surely, you just start spending less and less time. And eventually, the relationship will fade out or it will recalibrate. And I do think that sometimes when people find themselves constantly, either alone with egg on their face, stepping into stuff that is painful, that can be a phenomenal teacher as well. Sometimes when you leave someone alone, that gives them an opportunity to think. And inside of that thinking is where the self awareness process can sprout. Uh, I could go on and on about this topic because I really do marvel at how deep truly how deep the lack of awareness can go. This is why, you guys, YouTube videos, books, get into some conversations, learn as much as you can about the environment you're in and the people that you're sharing your life and your world with. Because again, it will create greater levels of awareness, which ultimately is going to lead to more happiness in your life. So, I will be back soon with some more interesting content. Again, if you're loving what I'm doing, please don't forget to subscribe and share the news of the channel with your friends and family. I'll be back very soon. Thanks. Bye bye.